All right, here we go. Stocks by the numbers. Welcome back. Wanted to do a quick long form video for a lot of you who haven't been able to get in the stream lately over the last couple of weeks. I've been going live practically every day for, at least 1, 2, 3 hours where I can. And just watching a lot of these plays develop in real time with everybody. So if you are able to get into the stream sometime during market hours, try to do that, try to show your support. But I wanted to go back and I wanted to speak about Intel because I recently spoke about this stock just a couple of days ago in a video for you guys. And of course, I was speaking about it for several months, that they've kind of taken the spotlight off of it and kept the stock down and brought it back down into the teens and back down to multi-year lows and support levels. And I kept saying, in my opinion, there's value there. And you can see that just over the month of August, the stock has rebounded from sub 20 down here at 19 and now spiked today, rallied up, obviously all the way up to 22 on its own merits. But we can see today that the stock really had an explosion, and this took place at, about 20 minutes before the close. We had huge volume and a big spike coming to Intel, and we had a 7 1/3% day getting up to almost 24 at the close. And then obviously after hours, we're continuing to move up into the high 24s now, up another 3 1/4%. And the reason being is because the U.S. is discussing taking a stake in Intel. Now, usually in the past, when I analyzed the stock like LPX, and then we heard Warren Buffett take a position, awesome, right? Awesome news, just cements the analysis, right? However, to have the U.S. government invest in Intel to support its Ohio factory hub, I mean, it trumps, it's even better than Buffett buying UNH. In my opinion, that was a bad call, but he knows what he knows, right? Intel, I consistently said, in my opinion, there's value there. And now, not only was the stock rebounding after getting beaten up too much, in my opinion, but now we're hearing again that we could potentially have the Trump administration step in and take a stake in Intel. Why? Because I said it was a brand name American stock that was a staple in the space for decades. And you don't let that fail. You don't let it fall behind. You don't let it lag behind. You give it a boost, and you bring it back into the lane, right? Right now it's off-road. It veered off-road, hit a bump, hit a tree, and now we're pulling it back onto the road and getting it back on track. So, again, this is supposedly just an idea that we're discussing and floating around. It has not been cemented yet. But, in my opinion, possibly going to happen. Probably going to happen if we're floating the idea. And, again, we may see a situation where, the government's able to hold some preferred shares in Intel and collect some dividends over time. So we'll see what can happen here. But yeah, I mean, again, he was bashing the CEO, and what did I say? I said it was to kind of kickstart the value that we know is there, right? Trump wanted to kick it into high gear with Intel, and they're just kind of asleep at the wheel. So that's why all of a sudden Trump starts to bash him, the stock goes down. All of a sudden, right, they meet up, they sit down, now the stock goes back up, and now all of a sudden you're hearing the government may take a stake. Details of how such an arrangement would be structured are still being hashed out. News of the discussions was reported earlier by Bloomberg. Last week, the president called for Tan to step down as head of Intel. CEO was highly conflicted. Chinese tech companies. The Trump administration has been seeking ways to increase American market share in semiconductor manufacturing. Officials have described Intel as the domestic company with the best chance of taking on TSM. You protect your biggest player. Tech companies across the board have been rushing to boost or emphasize their U.S. investments to win favor with the president and get favorable policies. Quote, this administration knows how much leverage they have over the tech industry. A deal would be the latest of Trump's unprecedented interventions in the U.S. private sector. He recently secured a commitment by NVIDIA and AMD to pay the government 15% of its sales in China in exchange for export licenses. And Nippon Steel's takeover of U.S. Steel, originally brought to you on the channel at $19.70. The bid was for $55. He received, quote, a golden share, giving the president sway over how the company operates. You are not going to buy out our American U.S. steel industry and make the rules. That is, no way should that be happening. Analysts have said it could be difficult for Intel to increase its U.S. capital spending given its business challenges. The company's loss widened to $2.9 billion in the second quarter. Government funding alone also wouldn't address all of Intel's problems, which investors say include an outdated business model and a product lineup poorly suited to applications in AI, which is boosting other companies in the space. Quote, Intel is deeply committed to supporting President Trump's efforts to strengthen U.S. technology and manufacturing leadership. It doesn't comment on rumors. You just did, but that's okay. And there you go. So, yeah, I think hearing this news just days after I reminded everyone about Intel, saying, in my opinion, if we do get a catalyst, if we do turn the corner, we can potentially see some big returns. And just on rumors and the stock bouncing, it recently went from 20, low 20s, now up to almost 25. So shares are up roughly 25%. If you happen to listen and buy some Intel calls when I said I like the stock and you bought some time, obviously you are sitting pretty and you are probably up huge right now. So congratulations to those who listened. Yet another phenomenal call by yours truly. Forget about an activist backing me up. I got the freaking U.S. government seeing the value that I see. That's it. I'm done. I'll end it there. Once again, Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually pretty quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But of course, more importantly, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, they're volatile, and they're very uncertain. So I do want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.